Welcome to Midfield SportsCast.
And the 12th episode of the Divided Friendship Podcast. We're doing our usual in this episode. We're going to review the Week 7 scores and break down those games. Then we're going to look at who is now leading in our top 5 game predictions of the year. Then we're going to look at our Week 8 predictions for the top 5 games. And then we'll do the Ohio State and Michigan preview and recap. Today, it is me, Maddyx, and Dawson. Luke, not able to be here. He is at the Seahawks game. And Quentin, also not able to be here.
I ain't got a dang clue where he is.
Ain't gonna lie to you. But, let's do... Philly, what games do you want to talk about?
No, you.
Alright. I'm gonna go first then. What game do I want to talk about? I want to talk about USC and Notre Dame. Notre Dame dominates Caleb Williams, forces, I'm pretty sure, 5 turnovers, 3 interceptions, 2 fumbles. And that fourth quarter was just all Notre Dame. USC had no answer. Williams throws 3 picks, his worst game of his career. Notre Dame, Hartman didn't have a very good game. He only had 126 yards with 2 touchdowns, but Estime had 95 yards and 2 touchdowns. And just overall, they dominated defensively, forces Williams to 3 picks. I mean, I don't think he's done that his whole career. I don't remember a game he's thrown 2 picks. So, great game defensively for Notre Dame, and they win that one 48-20. You got anything to say about it, Philly?
Domination.
All right, what's your game now?
Let me look at the list here.
Oh, I was the only one to predict Notre Dame to win, by the way. Just want to say that.
We could talk about Missouri and Kentucky.
Decent little game there.
Well, they had a nice little fake punt go for about 40 yards and a touchdown.
Crazy throw.
Absolute dime by a punter. It was very impressive. Luther Burden had kind of a quiet game, which
surprised me. I thought he was going to go off because of the amount of yards they gave up to Brock Bowers. I figured Luther Burden would get decent amount.
He only had 2 catches the whole night and 21 total yards. So, good job to the Kentucky defense on stopping him, but they didn't do anything else. So, did it really matter? No. Devin Leary, 2 interceptions, 2 touchdowns. Ray Davis
What's new?
had a good amount of yards. No touchdowns for him, though, as the Tigers won this one 38-21.
I figured before the season started, I know a lot of Kentucky fans. I mean, a lot of them. And seeing that roster with Barryon Brown, Dan Key, and Devin Leary, I figured this team would be a pretty good passing offense. You'd have to have a decent secondary to slow down the pass game for them with those weapons they got. But this year they've been more of a run team because Leary's been throwing picks, and Ray Davis has been getting yards, averaging like 6 yards a pop. And he didn't get in the end zone against Missouri, but he had another 100-yard game. I mean, Missouri, they can score points.
They
And
can.
They did, and they won. All right, what other games? A lot of the games this week were blowouts. A decent amount of them.
But
right.
some of them were good. The absolute domination of Washington State.
Luke Filial with an expert pick there, picking Arizona and Noah Fafita to win that game, and he was correct. A blowout.
5 rushing touchdowns for the Wildcats.
Exactly.
Wildcats. Noah Fafita,
I bet when
he should
scored.
just stay the starter.
Fafita has been on the money. He didn't have a touchdown. He did throw a pick, but yards-wise, he was over 300 yards passing. And Noah Fafita is a small, sneaky type player. Not even 6 foot. You don't really see that a lot being a quarterback in college. But they might need to keep him in. I think they should keep him in. Arizona nearly upsets Washington. Very close to upsetting USC. And then they dominate Washington State.
And then Louisville, beat by a 1-win Pitt team.
Ugh.
There goes the end of their Miracle Run season.
No TCU run for Louisville this year. And I think that was the only team that I could see doing a TCU type run. this far in the year. But you know who's also undefeated?
Who would that be?
Air Force.
Air Force
6-0.
is undefeated,
They
and
beat a very decent Wyoming team.
in the new AP poll, they are ranked
22nd overall.
And then obviously, the game of the week did not disappoint. Oregon at Washington.
What a game to watch. Being an outside fan, watching just score after score after score. I know fans of Oregon and Washington were stressing out during that game.
I was stressing out, and I don't even like either of them.
Well, you were really high on Oregon. Are you still high on Oregon?
One loss through that Pac-12 schedule, that'll put you in the playoffs.
I mean, Oregon, Bo Nix played, as well as I think he possibly could have. Maybe a few of those fourth downs he could have made different decisions, but I don't think they should have gone for it on all of them. I understand being aggressive, but some of those calls, I think, looking back at it, you might need to be a little less aggressive, punt the ball away, let your defense try and stop Penix, because for that, how explosive that offense was, they did fairly well at stopping it in the first half. Second half, a little bit of a difference.
Like you said, especially on the second to last drive of the game, whenever they got stopped on fourth down, gave Washington the ball back, and then they scored in 2 plays. You punt that ball away, Washington has a lot more yards to get to score. And obviously the plays were really explosive. I think they went 50, 60 yards through 2 plays, but you punt that ball away, you make them go 70, 80 yards, possibly. I like those chances better than I do 50.
Yeah. But field goal brought back PTSD for me. Goes wide and ends the game. Washington gets a key win over Oregon, and Michael Penix is now the front runner for the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, probably. I think if Bo Nix wins this game, if Oregon wins this game, I think Bo Nix is front runner. All right. On to the next part of this episode, which will be
our top 5 games of Week 8. We are already in Week 8 of college football. That is wild. First game, Philly, what we got?
Nah, you're missing something, buddy. You got to tell them the scores.
Oh. All right. We're going to go to a score sheet here from Week 7, top 5 games, and the point totals. Luke gains 5 on the week with 2 correct win predictions and a +3 also for a lower rank beating a higher rank, so that adds up to 5. Dawson with the same exact thing as Luke gets 5 in the same way. Quentin gains 2 for 2 correct
That pack got a little too much.
predictions. I get 4 for correct win predictions and +3 twice. +3 and +3 for 2 lower ranked teams beating a higher ranked team. So I gain 10, Quentin gains 2, Philly gains 5, Luke gains 5. So now in first, well, we'll start with 4. And last is Quentin with 27. Luke in third with 32. Philly in second with 37. And me, Maddyx, in first with 48.
Goodness. You're going to have like a really bad week.
I was down. I was in last at one point.
First game we have is a 3:30 start time in Eugene, Oregon, where Washington State travels to face the number 9 Ducks. And there's only 2 people here for predictions this time, so this episode should be a little shorter than normal.
You go first.
All right. I'm going to take Oregon in this one. Coming off of a loss, they'll be headed back to Autzen Stadium, where they are facing a Washington State team that is struggling as of recent. I'm going to take the Ducks 41-20.
I'm also going to take the Ducks with a 38-21 win. I think Bo Nix bounces back, and struggling Washington State team can't get it done on the road. Next game,
we got an 8 o'clock start time. 14 Utah against number 18 USC. I'm going to take USC in this one. I think they're a better team than Utah is with Actually, I take that back. I don't think they're a better team than Utah is, but without Utah's quarterback, Cam Rising, it just brings their level of play way
We
down.
never talked about his actual injury. Or like I should say, injuries.
Wasn't just an ACL tear.
A lot more than that.
And that's why he has not played this season. Because with a normal ACL tear, he would have been back already. But obviously, there was a lot more structural damage than originally told by Utah's coaching staff. I'm going to take the Trojans. Give me USC 44-32.
Interesting score. I'm also going to go with the Trojans. I think Williams bounces back to his normal self, plays a great game. I don't see interceptions being a problem for him in this one. I think USC wins 45-24.
Next game, we will go down to Tallahassee, Florida, where number 16 Duke travels to face the number 4 ranked Seminoles at 7:30. I'm going to take Florida State in this one to keep their undefeated season alive by a score of 30-19.
I'm going to also go with Florida State. So far we all take the same thing. I'm going to go with Florida State remaining undefeated, staying at that 4 spot unless something else happens. I got 28-17 Florida State.
Next game we got. Head down to Tuscaloosa for a 3:30 start time, where it is a rivalry game between the number 17 ranked Tennessee Vols against the number 11 Alabama Crimson Tide. I'm going to take Alabama to defend their home turf in this one. I think they are the better football team. I'm going to take the Crimson Tide 27-19.
I'm also going to go with the Tennessee Volunteers here. I'm going with the Vols.
Switch it up.
With an 11-point cushion, I can do stuff like that right now. Can't be a little too risky, but those +3s have been helping me with that Notre Dame pick last week. So I'm going to go with the Vols here. I think Joe Milton plays a good game, and I think the run game for Tennessee gives them this win. I think to figure out a way to run the ball on Alabama, and I have the Vols winning 17-14, a low-scoring game in the SEC. We all know what the last game is.
Where College Game Day is headed, up to Columbus for number 7 Penn State against number 3 Ohio State. I don't know.
Game.
Penn State's been playing really good football. But then again, it's in Columbus.
At noon. Are we serious?
Freak it, I need points. Give me number 7 Penn State to win this one by a score of 20-17.
You know me. I'm an Ohio State fan. So I'm going to go with the Buckeyes. I looked earlier, statistic-wise, Alar has one more touchdown and hasn't thrown a pick yet this season. But I think the difference in this one, if you would have told me at the start of the year, I would say the difference in this one is stopping the run game. But Penn State is throwing the ball very well this year, and they're running the ball also well, but not as well as we originally expected. The numbers do not show how also dominant this Penn State run game can be. Last year, our entire point was we had to stop Allen and Singleton. But I think we fluster Alar. He forces maybe a pick or has some weird balls. That was weird. Or has some passes that are a bit off that that'll help us a lot in this game. And I have Ohio State winning.
Because he has some weird balls.
27-14. The Buckeyes get a win at home. All right.
That's wild.
Shut up.
All right.
Is that already?
That's already all that. Now to the last part of the podcast. Wait, no, we're skipping something. Upset game of the week.
Upset game of the week. Let me go.
Okay.
My upset of the week is the Tennessee Volunteers over the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think the Vols, like I already explained all of it. I think the run game, slowing down the tempo, and also keeping Jalen Milroe uncomfortable will keep this game close, and I have the Vols winning 17-14. All right, Billy, what's yours?
Give me Marshall to upset James Madison.
I mean, that is an upset. Marshall off 2 losses.
We'll see what happens.
You got anything to describe it?
Marshall's running game superior to James Madison's. If they can just contain the run a little better, they're winning this game.
All right. Decent pick there by Philly. I agree with it.
Now to the last part.
You go first. It's the recap and preview of Michigan and Ohio State's Week 7 and Week 8 games. Dawson going to go over Michigan's first or their games last week and their game this week.
All right, obviously, Michigan with a 52-7 win this week over the Hoosiers to keep their undefeated season alive. Indiana struck first with a 44-yard wide receiver touchdown pass. But after that, no chance for them.
52 unanswered points.
Carmelo English, one of our freshman receivers, got his first career receiving touchdown. Roman Wilson also had a receiving touchdown. Colston Loveland, I do believe it was a 54-yard touchdown, which was his longest of his career. Great showing by J.J. McCarthy, and again, the defense. Amazing. I don't think it really matters if they're not playing very good teams. That defense is very good and very talented. Now, on to the next game. We got Michigan State coming up. This one will be in East Lansing. The last time we played there, choked a little bit of a lead. Michigan State, obviously not a very good football team this year.
Definitely not as good as they were with the kids.
Definitely not.
We lost to.
Definitely not as good as Kenneth Walker. They didn't even have a football team. They were just Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, that.
Kenneth Walker Spartans.
People were like, Mel Tucker, Tuck's coming. Tuck was not coming.
Freaking Kenneth Walker was. Anyways, that's besides the point. Not a very good football team right now or at all in this season. Michigan is 24-point favorites. I think they'll cover the spread. Game shouldn't really be close. The only reason it could be is because it's a rivalry game on the road. So I have to say about that.
All right. Playing Purdue last week. 41-7 win. Some people had the spoiler makers possibly spoiling the Buckeyes again, but I don't think this Purdue team is as special as the Purdue team was a few years ago when they upset the Buckeyes. The defense started fairly well, but they, like they usually do, they gave up too many first downs. They were on the field for a long time. Bend don't break. And a field goal missed. The offense started fast, like they wanted to last week, but they weren't able to do. Ryan Day was really disappointed about that last week against Maryland. But they start fast, 2 straight touchdowns to start the game. Brandon Ennis catching his first touchdown on his first catch. And then you had McCord playing very good in this game. You had the defense only gives up 7 total points. Purdue's running back is very sneaky, I can say that. And he also wears number 45. That's weird.
What's his name?
McCoby.
Whoa.
He had 15 carries, 110 yards. In this game, we already come into the game without Travion Henderson, which we thought he would play, and then Maya Williams also rolled out. So then Chip Trainum was getting the start. He gets a play-action pass by McCord thrown to him, hit right at the marker, by 3 defenders, and it was hit hard. He gets up slowly, jogs off, and about where the backfield was, he stumbles and falls. So not good sign. Probably concussion for him. He was out the rest of the game. Now Dallin Hayden comes in, the freshman, the most talented back in the backfield, in my opinion. He gets 11 carries in this game, 76 yards and a touchdown. Gave our team a spark, and we win 41-7. That's about all I got to say in that game. Now, Penn State game. Got to keep Drew Allar uncomfortable. He has not thrown a pick to this point in the year. We got to force some type of turnover. We got to run the ball good. Whoever's in the backfield, we got to be able to block, give them holes, not make them have to stretch it. Please don't run stretch plays all the time. We ran it in between the guard and tackle, and we got some very good runs with Dallin Hayden. If we continue that, I think we'll win this game. McCord can't turn the ball over. Had it stripped in this game. Can't do that. Got to keep the ball in our hands. Got to win the time of possession battle. And I think if we just stop the passing game, we also, obviously, their run game is always very good. Not as good as we may have expected, but it's still very good. And, yeah, I think we can win this game. That's about all I got to say for this one. I got the Buckeyes winning in a close Big Ten battle. All right, Philly. Let's close this out.
Thank you guys for watching.
It's very appreciated.
It is very appreciated. Oh, wait. Also, we just reached 100 followers on our Instagram page.
Thank you. And we hit 50 on YouTube. Subscribers.
Yes.
Go sub. Go follow on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. If you're on YouTube right now, this is how you're seeing the podcast. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, share it.
Thank you guys. We will catch you on the next one.